What if I told you Football Manager's most underrated scouting feature only took you 2 clicks? It's a feature that I didn't know about for the first year and a half of playing Football Manager, and it's a feature that one chatter in my Twitch stream, KMal90, put me onto and changed my whole trajectory and how to scout players in Football Manager forever. I hope you guys are ready to understand just how valuable team reports are. So this is how we're going to break it down. We're going to go through what a team report is, how to actually use a team report, why and when to use one, overall team report strategies to set them up for yourselves, and finally, my favorite leagues and teams to employ team reports on that I have found through my years of playing Football Manager. So we're now in my in-game screen, so I can kind of run you through some generalities about what a team report is. If you ever employed a team report, seen one, or maybe not seen one, this is how it shows up when one gets completed for your team. This is kind of the general information that you're getting. You get a general idea of their ability and their potential. It's obviously not locked in because you don't know exactly how good they are. And if you click into a player, you get specifics on players. For instance, we get a lot of numbers, and then we get a few ranges as well. So it gives you a really good starting point. So really, team reports in regards to what they actually are isn't super complicated. It is a way to get another level of general knowledge on a team on an individual basis, so then you can make further decisions on whether to scout players and groups of players on the team in detail. Let's go into how we can set these up. So setting up a team report really is straightforward. You want to find a team that you want to get extra knowledge on. So Port Moody SC. So how you set up a team report is you really just need to have 2 things. You need to have a scout to do the team report. So you go here on the overview on the squad page of an opposition team. You go here to team reports. You go get team report, and then you pick one of your scouts. But I'm just going to pick my chief scout, Dill in Sacramento. Ask Dylan to compile a team report on Port Moody's SC first team. Additionally, Sacramento may also suggest available players for loan from the club into the scouting center. And you're just going to have to wait a few days while it is scouting in progress. One thing to note, though, is I'm in the first division of Portugal, so I have a world scouting range right now. If I am on Europe scouting range and I go back to Canada, to another team. Since Canada is not in Europe, I am not able to employ a team report. The team report page is still here, but I cannot ask for a team report. Put it back onto World, back to one of these Canadian teams again. Team report, get team report is back added. That's really how you do a team report. Advance a few days, and then I'll show you what it looks like again once the team report comes in. And a good way to check which team reports are going through, you go to scouting coverage and your scouting, team report priorities. Port Moody is up as the next team report to go through, so it'll just take a few days. We started it on Monday. All right, so we've advanced a few days. I did the team report on Monday. Oliver, who is our chief scout residing here in Portugal, has returned with a team report on Thursday. Remember, before we clicked into him, we had no idea about their ability or potential, and now if you click on a player, if you look at how many things are fully unlocked, 14 of the attributes still have ranges, whereas 22 of the attributes have a definitive number. You also get player traits, you get either footedness. You don't get scout report, which is the strengths and weaknesses of an individual player. If you like what you see here, scout them further, which is going to be a little bit more expensive, but you at least know where you're putting your resources into a player. If we're looking for a needle in a haystack, and we have found that before. I found Luke West through a team report last off season. He was an Alliance United FC player, but Luke West is an incredible center back with Portuguese top division potential. And we found him for free in the lower leagues of Canada. So players are out there for sure. I've explained how to use them, so let's get into the why. Team reports. And there's 2 main reasons. Obviously, we talked a little bit about it at the start of the video. One is to find an easier way to know where to put resources into scouting individual players, and the other is to get a general knowledge of opposition teams that you are about to play that you might not have great knowledge about. So let's go through the first one. One of my favorite places to look at team reports because of how cheap the prospects are is the MLS academies. They have a crazy amount of high potential players. And remember, it's relative to your scouting ability for both ability and potential, and then also All these stars are always relative to your own team's ability and potential level and the ability and potential level of the league that you are playing in. So always take some of this stuff with a grain of salt. So this has given us 50% of the info that we wanted to know about a player. If we're going into it with 0% of the info, we might be throwing away money scouting a player fully, not knowing if it's even worth it to do that in the first place. So for instance, if I go here to the players in range, Salif Diamande, who's playing for Campo di Pietra, 5 appearances at 20 years old for a non-division Italian team. This is the information I have about this guy. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 ranges of attributes, and I know that he has 1 strength, so he must be like super skinny when you see his photo. What is it about this player that's telling me to scout him? Nothing really, unless you see some crazy high number on one of those things. Obviously, like it says here, it's going to cost you money to go scout him. But what's going to be cheaper? You go to Campo di Pietra, and then we just throw a little team report on the squad. If we take a look at Famalicão, our next opponent in the Portuguese First Division, I don't have a ton of great knowledge on them. I don't know their potential or ability relative to my team. We have better ranges, but there are no specific numbers. So let's throw a team report on them as well, so when we play them next, we have better knowledge going into this game. All right, so the first team report is back. Campo di Pietra 2022, and the player that we're looking at, Salif Diamande. So remember, like I mentioned before, only like 6 things had ranges, and we knew he was 1 strength. But after a simple team report, look how much more knowledge that we have. We know he has 11 excel. We know he has 11 determination. We know he has 11 finishing. He might not be good enough for my Portuguese first team, but maybe if I was an Italian Serie D team and I was looking for some cheap players to add to my roster, and I just team reported a non-league team in my area, and I found some player like this, hey, maybe he could be good enough for us. Now we know whether to invest more resources into scouting this guy. So let's go to the Famalicão one and see if that helps us for this next matchup as well. All right, well, I'm glad that we did the team report on them, because now I know that every single player on Famalicão would start on my team, and we might be screwed. But we didn't know that before, and now, at least when we get our ass beaten in the game, we'll know why. Those are just the 2 main reasons as to why to use them. And now we're going to talk about just the general team report strategy of how I like to set up a bunch of them at the same time. So generally how I like to do team report strategy is, depending on what type of save I'm playing, obviously this one is super specific. I'm always going to be looking for Canadian players. What I'll do is at the start of each summer transfer window, and usually if it's like a winter window, I'll start in December, so then we're not starting in January. I'll usually start at the start of December and like right at the end of a season for the summer one, and just go through all these clubs and just do a preliminary team report on them. It is a little bit tedious because you do have to do them one at a time, and if you look here, 106 things you have to click. So what is it? 2 clicks. So that's 212 clicks to get general knowledge on 106 teams. Maybe throw it on a podcast, throw on a Twitch stream, and just go through it. I think it's worth it. I wish there was a feature to do multiple team reports at one time. If there is, let me know, but I think it's because you have to assign a specific scout to it. Another strategy that I like to employ when doing team reports is if I have some inexperienced scouts who I want to get them a better world scouting knowledge. For instance, Dill in Sacramento, if I wanted a guy to have a better knowledge of, say, African teams or South American teams, you could send him on a run of team reports in that area, and that knowledge will build throughout time. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to show you teams/leagues that I love to do team reports on, because the MLS academies are so OP for finding players for free, especially when you're not in the MLS. The FC Dallas, a team that has developed a lot of really great European-bound American prospects, players such as Weston McKennie and Ricardo Pepe, just to name 2. Young MLS Academy players, there's a ton of good prospects. You even have John Wall here. Accra Lions is another really solid one. They are a Ghana-based academy, and sitting right there is the guy that made me find out about the Accra Lions Football Club. Evans Botchway is a stupid fast Ghanaian wing. Sydney United 58 is a really interesting academy. They have great youth recruitment in Sydney, in Australia. They're a non-league Australian team, and it's very similar to the MLS academies. These players are going to be pennies on the dollar. Most of them transfer value of a 0. I also did a little compare and contrast by scouting the Sydney FC Australian league team. Do your due diligence, scout non-league teams, try to find the needle in the haystack, and you can save tons of money finding good prospects for your youth teams, B teams, or even your main team, depending on what level you are at. You see a lot of Ghanaian players coming to FC Nordsjælland as the next step in their development, and the reason is it's because of the Right to Dream Academy. But you can find a lot of good prospects here, and again, transfer value of 0. When you find these teams that are not playing in active leagues or non-league teams or development teams in different parts of the world, you can find free players. And all it takes is a little bit of due diligence, a team report to see, okay, now I want to go scout this guy fully and we'll get better knowledge. That's where you spend the money on him. But at the end of the day, if it pans out, you get a great free player who you can either profit on or can become a really great player for your team, or both. So good thing to look into. Right to Dream Academy, one of my favorites. This is the Senegalese club team, Diambers Football Club. This is one where you're going to have to pay a little bit more money, but it kind of reminds me of like a lot of those South African league clubs where there's a lot of high potential, good ability players, but you might have to pay a reasonable fee for them. But if you're looking for a goalkeeper to start on your team, you could do worse for 85,000 at most. You can find gems, and Africa is one of my favorite places to find players. Arnett Gardens FC U19s. This is a Jamaican academy. If you want cheap players from CONCACAF, Jamaica is a great place to find them. I'm just trying to give you guys a good range of players. Let me know in the comments which ones you like to recruit from. If you guys are already familiar with team reports, if you like to scout certain places in the world, please let me know. I'm adding to my list at all times, and these are just a few of my favorite ones. So, well, there you have it, guys. That is all you need to know to get yourself started with team reports. If you thought this information was useful, I'm glad. So comment, like, subscribe. It really does help with the algorithm and all that stuff as we grow this channel. If you ever want to see me live on Twitch Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays playing Football Manager 2024, doing the Canada Build a Nation right now, expect some more videos about that, some more story type videos, as well as some more topic videos like this in the future. That is kind of the vibe of this YouTube channel. And if you have any suggestions of how I can improve or what other stuff that you want to see, please feel free to let me know. I love talking to you guys in the comments. So as always, thank you. I appreciate everyone who watched this video as much or as little as you watched it, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.